hurt him tonight. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was my guess. So, yesterday was one of the games where we just couldn't give him something to cheer for. So, which we did. Got on it early again, which is a really good recipe for us. We scored some runs early in the game. Better. And we got a little bit on the mound, so it was pretty feel good from the beginning of the game.
You mentioned before the game, could you see that out there?
Yeah, you could feel. I mean, you could feel the interest in him being on the mound. So every time he came in the dugout, there were a lot of people cheering for him, which you don't hear. And I think for him, certainly probably had to tone it down some and try to not be distracted by it. Those Logan Webb games is pretty typical of what he's done all year.
He got over 100 pitches. How do you feel about that? Into the 7 2/3 inning.
He did what now?
He
6 2/3. Yeah, I mean,
100
pitches for him. He's not out there throwing 100 miles an hour. He wants to go deep in games. It's what he's all about. I think he leads in inning pitches or close to it, and this is kind of what he does. So I don't really worry too much about pitch counts with him as long as I feel like he's still effective.
We talked about him sometimes at All-Star Camp and the announcements tomorrow.
It's a no-brainer for me. I haven't talked to anybody. Nobody called me, but I don't know how he's not.
Offensively, you had everybody reach base in some form of capacity at least once, capped off with a 4 RBI night by Willie Adames. What was the offense seeing just throughout the innings at the plate tonight?
Just trying to put pressure on their starter. He's had a little bit of more of a difficult time here in this ballpark. So, you get some guys on base early and you give yourself a chance. Willie's hit was huge, being with 2 outs, and we had a chance to score before that. And then Willie's next one, too. I mean, Willie was a star, as far as at the plate. And he's been so good here recently, probably in his last, 60 at-bats or so. Driving in runs and getting key hits and not chasing as much and just doing a lot of good things that, it's a huge reason, that we signed him.
With there in the first inning, the hit by pitches, just a little bit of frustration from Chappie. Is it kind of just a little bit of a here we go again type
deal? The wrist and the hand where, he's just got over a hand injury. Elliott gets hit in the wrist again. So, yeah, we didn't particularly like that.
How do you feel about your defense? It seemed like you cleaned up a lot of things since last
Yeah, we played a lot. We talked about that today. Where our defensive numbers are right now, and the errors that we've made have really piled up here recently. And if we're going to be a team that's all about pitching and defense, you have to play good defense. We have not here recently, so we need a little bit more focus on that. We cleaned it up today. When you have a guy like Logan on the mound, you got to expect the ball hit to you. Everybody was prepared.
They had a little when Logan came out about Randy and the one batter. I mean, given his body of work, it's really hard for a non-coordinator to all-star team to vote in your case for him.
I think setup guys are part of this. I don't know that there's a better setup man for a guy that's come in and been a fireman and done what he's done this year. What's his ERA now? 0.7. And you look at his numbers against lefties too, which for a righty, that's quite the luxury to have. For me, if I'm voting, I'm voting.
What about that?
Tyler 2, Robbie 2. I mean, we're not going to get all those guys, but I know I'm probably a little biased.
In the bullpen, they told Scott Miller, what's your level of concern for him?
Yeah, hopefully it's been bothering him a little bit. I certainly hope it's not something that's significant, and at this point we don't feel like it. So, it wasn't one of those things where he just felt something go, and it was just kind of a progressive thing for the last few days where he's felt a little bit warming up. So hopefully we'll caught it at the right time.
Has he had an MRI?
Not yet, no. Wait a minute. Yeah, he did today. Had an MRI today. So, and that's why we put him on the IL. It doesn't look like it's a big structural problem in there, and I haven't heard him talk of any bad things as far as it goes. We just shut him down for a little bit, and then hopefully it heals.
With what he did and what I hear, a lot of energy. When Chapman comes back, you guys have like more of an edge, more of a, intensity.
All those words. Yeah, that's what he brings. That's why we signed him. That's what he's been about his whole career. He's not afraid to lead. He's not afraid to lead by example. the pace that he plays, the expectation that he has for everybody as well. That's the reason we signed him.
When you guys were frustrated with two guys hit in the first game.
Yeah.
There wasn't baseball retaliation, but the way you responded. But
Yeah.
hits, each time that was hit with, later in the game.
That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
So that's the when a game that we kind of have to win today, and so yeah, the way to combat that is get some big hits.
Thanks, Bob.
All right.
Appreciate it.